in real estate, there gets to be a point where it's all about the deals. It's not about you getting money to finance the deal, or it's not about trying to scrimp and save every dollar that you can for a deal. It's finding a deal. So with the laundromat, I knew the location. I had seen the books 2 or 3 years prior to me acquiring it. The story was the guy died. His elderly 80-year-old grandma was running it, but she could not effectively run it because she could not physically carry the quarters out of the laundromat. And instead of hiring somebody to help with quarters, she just shut the whole thing down. And a big time investor came in, bought the location, wanted to do it, or did eventually do it as a 24/7 operation. No people involved other than someone coming in once every few days and cleaning it and collecting the quarters. And the person that was doing the quarter collections and things of that nature had no interest in it. And there was $800 when I took it over in quarters left in machines. Several of the machines were physically broken due to too many quarters in them. They'd gone so long without a collection that they broke the machines. The quarters broke the machines, right, which is something that can't happen inside of a laundromat. So I called an investor from that I have a relationship with in San Francisco. And he's like a lot of these higher net worth individuals. When you go to them and say, "Hey, I want to buy a laundromat, it's going to cost you $40,000," they're like, "Oh, I will sort through my couch cushions. I'll go get money out of the couch, and that's it." And essentially, we were able to get the money for it. I have no money out of pocket on it, and we bought it. And I thought, man, these laundromats are just cool. I love the physical nature of the machine. I love the clickiness of some of the equipment. It's just a really cool thing to have. And I thought, I should share this with the world via YouTube, which I've tried to do other real estate content. I've tried to do other video projects before, and they just fell flat on their face. I did the laundromat and got a much better response with the laundromat as opposed to I bought a train station, which I bought a train station 4 or 5 years ago and was recording the renovation, and I had like 100 people watch the video, and that was it. And that really was depressing that I had spent time trying to record what I was doing there. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool clickbait headline too.
Yeah. I bought a train station and no one cared about it. Then I did a laundromat, and the first, I want to say the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I had maybe 1,000 people watch it. It's like, holy crap, this is awesome. And I just kept shooting videos, kept shooting content. And then Graham Stephan has a second channel called The Graham Stephan Show. And at that time, he had about 250,000 subscribers on it. And they did like what amounts to a casting call. Do you have a neat story that you can share with us? And I was like, hey, I bought a laundromat and I own 100 rentals. And long story short, we did a 15-minute phone call. His guy, Jack, thought it was a neat story. So Graham called me, interviewed me. He put it on his second YouTube channel. And I got probably 10,000 watches plus another 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers off of it. And that took me to the point that I was able to get monetized. And I think one of the dirty little secrets about YouTube, and maybe it's not a secret, but at some point, you end up with a situation that you get monetized, and then all of a sudden you're eligible for viral traffic. It can show you can do the viral traffic thing. And then October the 17th hits, and then that video that I had like 5,000 watches on or 10,000 watches on suddenly overnight has 250,000. And then the next day has 500,000 watches. And it becomes this thing. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, holy crap. And then I get calls. People are coming out of the woodwork. I have threats. People are like, oh, you're a slumlord. I can't believe you would take advantage of people at the laundromat. And just all of the things that you could ever imagine with becoming like an overnight, 15 minutes of fame, internet, YouTube celebrity guy. It's just all like, included. Oh, wow, my life's different now. And so it's just been that. The traffic started dying down in March, which I was fine with because I got this crazy trailer park project to work on. Then I had all these people say, your laundromat is the best clickbait I've ever seen before. You should do TikTok. And I was like, yeah, that sounds right. I don't have to shake my booty to get on TikTok. Maybe we can interest people with quarters and briefcases full of cash. Because I don't know if you can't see it on the little thing here, but I've got my bill counter with $100 worth of dollar bills in it because I can play the Scarface Godfather thing with cash
Yeah,
everywhere.
there you go.
And the TikTok stuff just took off.
It's glorious. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with a little theatricality.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I love
so it's been this wild ride, and I never know how I come off to people. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's Brandon the Hillbilly Millionaire," and there's other people that they get angry at that I'm a landlord, and it's just the weird nature of all things social media.
From watching your stuff, I really appreciated the simplicity of the laundromat, because we're sort of in the day and age of the complexity and making the fanciest thing, and there was something beautiful about you just making something work, and that's where the real wins are, in just making something work.
And that's where I want to go with YouTube so bad, and my TikTok so bad, because there's so much opportunity out there for people, and they just, in a real general sense, your average person doesn't understand how much opportunity there is in the world, especially in this country. Right. In my opinion, but I've been in business since I was 15 years old, been in real estate since I was 21 years old, and I've talked to guys with 9-figure net worths. And it's just, I've got a couple buddies that have 9-figure net worths, and I talk to them not on a daily basis, but every so often. And everyone has the same mindset. Everybody says the same thing. There's so much opportunity out there. You just have to go grab it. And that's so different than how I grew up with going to church down in the foothills of Appalachia, where everybody is dirt poor. Yeah. Dirt poor. And when you grow up that way, that's a mindset that it's, poverty's inescapable and you'll just live this way till you die. That's just how life is, everybody. And, going on that tangent, we went to church down in the hills. And the pastor of the church, my parents would go to their house on a regular basis. They were in a single wide trailer, and the trailer was on like 10 course of concrete blocks. And every time you got in the trailer shook. And it was only held up by four corners of concrete blocks, which is totally illegal now that I own a trailer park. That was so illegal. And I remember as a 6 or 7 year old kid looking out the front porch, I'm like, the only saving grace here is if this trailer starts sliding off the hill, at least they got a gigantic satellite dish in their yard. And I think that might stop the trailer. And it's just like, that was kind of what I grew up with. And it was like, this is just how life is. This is just okay. Then I go,
it's not weird. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. And then I get real estate. I get under the mentorship of a former oil CEO. He met Hugo Chavez, the president of Venezuela. He met all the cabinet of the people in Venezuela, because at one time Citgo was or maybe Citgo still is, entirely owned by the government of Venezuela. And that was a big deal back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So here I am sitting in an office with a guy who grew up on a farm. He didn't own a pair of shoes till he was 8 years old. And he's telling me about sitting and eating dinner with dictators. And I'm like, he grew up the road from me. And he's like, yeah, I never saw a dollar bill till I was 8 years old. And my mom took me to town to finally buy me my first pair of shoes. And I'm like, holy crap, this is just like he grew up in the 50s. He's now 70 something. And I'm like, how did this guy grow up as a poor kid? And he ended up getting bored of being a CEO of the largest oil company in my area. And he just wants to get in real estate, and he wants to sit down and eat lunch with me like 3 times a week.
That's pretty glorious.
Yeah,
how does this happen?
Well, and then that rags to riches kind of mentality is one of the craziest things, even about your content. I think that might be one of the biggest draws. It's just a young kid from Ohio who can grow up to overcome the issues of kind of like the poverty line. I grew up in, the middle of Indiana, and like, the idea that someone born into not a giant city or a wealthy family can go on to, own mass real estate or have amazing opportunities is a really crazy mindset change for someone born in areas of the world like we were. So just hearing it, right? Like, here you are sitting with these important people. Now you go sit with people, and to them, you're the important people. That's incredible.